say, think about yourself when you were 17 or 18.
Yeah.
And you're thinking about college, would you advise someone who's going to be a dance major that they should also do a minor or a major in business?
Education.
Or education?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Education. I mean, it's a, I don't know if I should call it this, but it's a trade that's going to be needed forever, if you want to call it a trade.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
it's a job that's going to, like, we're always going to need educators.
Yeah. It's going to take a lot longer to automate teachers than it is to, automate a truck driver or something.
Right.
Okay. So you think if you could go back and you had to pick between business and education, you think you would benefit more from more formal education classes?
Yep.
Is that something that a lot of college dance programs do?
So some of them do offer, I don't know what it's called, but it's a dance education.
Like major in dance with a focus in or concentration, minor or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think because, when different schools do it differently, but what a lot of universities do now is if you're going to teach elementary school, they call it like interdisciplinary studies or something like that, where you basically major in gen ed. You just take 4 or 5 in every subject area. But there are some schools that aren't as picky, and so there's big gaps where like a lot of elementary school teachers have taken very few or no science classes, but they still end up teaching it. Right?
Yeah.
And that's sort of a concern. If you're going to teach high school, usually what you do is you major in your subject area or something similar to it, and then you minor in education or you get a master's in it later or something like that.
I'm pretty sure that they had an education track where I was. I was in the mindset, I was young, and I was like, nope, I'm not going to teach. I'm going to go perform.
Right.
I'm going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And I was. That was the track I was on.
And you are awesome.
Well, thank you. But like my track, and I was on it, and I was making it come true, and it was happening. I was going to be a professional dancer.
Right. Yeah. Well, when I met you, you were, it was part-time. It wasn't like your main gig. And I
was still performing.
You're performing. You made a little money.
That's not exactly where I was headed on that track, but
right.
Things in life happen, like car accidents that put you out, and try to crawl out of that hole, and you just look for something, and teaching was where I landed.
And that's where, you could still use what you learned, you could still do what you loved, but
still in the studio every day.
You're doing it in a different way than you originally planned.
Actually, I probably get paid more now as a teacher than I ever would have as a performer.
That's good. Yeah. What's the career span?
Path?
Well, if you're going to be a professional dancer, let's say you begin, I don't know, does anyone start when they're 17 or 18?
Yeah.
Are there people who are just so good they don't go to college? They just go straight to...
Yeah.
So let's say you're that person. You're that good. It's 17, 18, full-time, whatever. How long can you be, say, a professional ballerina?
As long as you want.
So there's 60-year-olds on stage and people are paying to see them?
No.
No, I'm saying I have to teach
maybe,
30...
I don't know.
I have to teach 31, 32 years before I can retire. And,
right. There's no plan like that. You perform, and while you're performing, you teach. I had a friend that was a professional dancer in Chicago. Mm-hmm. She couldn't make it work just performing. She had to also teach. She now owns a dance studio. She doesn't perform anymore. She now owns a dance studio. So, the track of a professional dancer would be, you get the job, you perform, you also teach, you also are hired for choreography, and then eventually you stop performing, but you still teach, pick up more, you're still subbed out for choreography, you judge competitions.
So, knowing that, and I don't know,
you open your own dance
studio. Is there an average, if you were going to start dancing when you're 18 or 22, is the expectation most people by the age of 30?
Yeah.
Is it 30? Is it 35?
35, yeah.
Okay. So I'm just saying, that's a career where, you think about people who go into professional athletics, say it's a similar sort of path.
Yeah.
But even if you're good enough and lucky enough to get there, and it takes both skill and luck, you're only going to do that for so long, so it's really smart to have a plan for afterwards.
Right.
And, is that something that anyone ever talked to you about when you were in school as a dance major? Did anyone ever say, what are you going to do next?
Nope. It was research this company, research that company. What do you like about their dancers? What company do you want to be in?
Is that a disservice? Is that something that the school should be doing? You're paying a lot of money for this education. Should they maybe throw a 1-hour seminar somewhere in your junior year and say, once a week we meet for an hour and explore what we do for the second half of our careers? Or is that something that's, I mean, they could do it, obviously.
Obviously, they could have done it. I just don't remember it, maybe. But, I mean, we did capstones and, what are they, cornerstones? Capstones.
Your capstone's like your...
There's a capstone and then there's another one, too.
Oh, I don't know. If that,
we had two of them.
Like your gateway course? The gateway is the thing that gets you
I don't know. It was, write your bio, write your resume, get all that up and running. And then it was also, one of the classes was create your own ballet or critique, go to a ballet and write a review of it. So there were like different aspects of the dance field that I worked on and that I learned. But I don't think anyone just point blank looked at me and said, what are you going to do after you're done performing? Yeah. What's your big plan? I
mean, because I have that conversation with students a lot, and I'm never trying to rain on anyone's parade. Once or twice I've tried to rain on someone's parade, but it's just because they'd already been offered very good advice or support.
And they're just not listening
and they're not listening. Yeah. And I remember, it was a long time ago, but we actually I had a kid sitting at a computer and I said, let's look up the numbers. How many people play high school football? Yeah. How many people play college football? Cut that. How many people play at large schools?
Yeah.
How many of them get drafted? And then your average
it's a
NFL
funnel
career
system.
is,
like it just you start with a large group of people, and then it just slowly gets smaller.
We got it down. I don't remember the number, but and at that point, it started off as not trying to ruin the kid's plan, but just to really impress upon him. Other people were trying to help him out, and I was trying to tell him he should have been listening more carefully.
Yeah.
Right. But then once we got started, everybody kind of thought it was funny, and I was just genuinely curious, like, what's the number going to be? And it was like 0.0001% or point. It was like 3 or 6 zeros or something. I mean, it's an astronomically small number of people who get there, and then most people don't last more than a year or two.
Yeah.
And so with dance, it's very physical.
Very physical.
You said
training.
there are injuries, maybe not what you get in other sports, but maybe it would be wise for someone along the line to say, what else can we do? Or but I don't know.
I mean, you got to think I graduated from college, got a degree in dance, trained at the world-renowned Jacob's Pillow, which only 20 people around the entire world get into. Mm-hmm. Came home and was in a car accident within weeks.
Yeah.
And there went everything.
Yeah. Yeah, like
everything.
And
I tried to climb back up. I tried to do this. I tried to do that. I, was very focused. I went to New York City and trained with Paul Taylor's intensive, and I was trying to do it. It just, like, when you're at a certain point.
Yeah.
And then you just, I don't know.
So, I mean, and a comeback from an injury and all of that. Not that anything can ever prepare you for it.
And I'm not saying you can't come back from it. Of course you can.
No. Right.
It's just, it's going to take you so much longer to get right back to where you were. And you're like, I was just there.
Yeah.
Like, I was just there. But what I don't realize is that being there took 5 years of training.
To get, And now got to redo some of this.
And now my body's all out of whack. I have crazy whiplash and broken ribs and, like, I could barely breathe without pain. Like, how was I going to go right back into training?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, nothing can prepare you for it, but maybe if there were other things along the way where you'd at least had conversations about your other options, or if there was that
like if I
concentration or a minor or something like that, it's at least like sort of a pillow to land on.
Yeah.
So that as you're making your plans to get back or to do whatever, like, I don't know. I'm obviously not a dance major. I was an English major, and I'm an English teacher.
But you can dance with your shoulders.
I dance real nice. You're lucky this isn't on video. If people could see what I'm doing right now, they would be like, wow, he should be teaching those dance classes.
Oh, isn't that how you got me?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
When we were dating? Isn't that how you...
Students never believe. I'm like, my wife's a professional dancer, dance teacher. And they're like, can you dance? I said, of course. How else do you think I got her? Mm-hmm. And they say, dance right now, like in the middle of an English class with no music. That's not really how it works. I pretend to moonwalk and they laugh at me. I'm like, that's...
Oh, you can't even moonwalk?
Oh, shut up.
Oh, babe. I'll teach you. I'll teach you.